side. You no go ever let me down.
Baby, now you tell me, say.
Now you tell me, say.
Anytime I call on you.
Anytime I call your name, Lord. You will never, ever. Never, ever, ever. I believe, say. Even if I no get the money, even if I no get the motor, even if I no get the biggie house, if I remember how you paid the price, I will still worship you. I will still worship you. I will give my praise to you, God. I will still worship you. You tell me, say you go answer me. Even when nothing in my hand, Lord, you will never, ever, ever put my hand, Lord. Yeah, you know more. You know more. Baby, now you tell me, say, in times of trouble, call me, you go answer. And this now my confidence, I believe in you. I believe you know forever, never, even if my dreams know they come true, even if I know go oversee, even if you know they give me all I ask, if I remember how you paid the price, I will still worship you. I will still worship you. I will give my praise to you, God. I will still worship you. And this is my vow. Whatever comes my way,
I will give my praise to you.
in trial, in tribulation, well, yeah. Anything I go your name, Lord. You say you'll never forsake me. You will never, ever for my hand, Lord. Anytime, oh, you tell me, say, we can call you, your name is a strong God. The righteous Lord in our sin. You will never, ever, ever, ever fall my hand, Lord. Anytime I go down on my knees and Baby, now you tell me, say, anytime I call your name, you never, ever, for my hand, let me down, let me cry, let me come. You know, go.
Yes, it's a beautiful time here in Pretoria, South Africa. We're coming to you live with Yomi, Ekuesan. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Pretoria. Thanks to everyone watching us. Do us a great favor. We want this show to go viral and we want a lot of people to be part of what we are doing in this studio. So kindly join us now. Share the music, be part of it. We are going to bring you different music that will be making your day so nice and so beautiful. It's Sunday afternoon here in Pretoria, South Africa. It's 7 minutes after 4 o'clock here in Pretoria, South Africa. And I believe it's 7 minutes after 3 o'clock in Nigeria, where you are. Good day and good afternoon. How are you today? Good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon. I am fine. It's so good to have you too. It's actually 7 minutes past 3 here in Nigeria as well, and I'm excited to be live on the African Portal. It's a privilege. Thank you. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Great, great. You're welcome on board. It's a beautiful time here. It's lovely day here in Victoria. I'm so excited as well to have you on in the studio to have this conversation. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. There's a lot of people that will be listening to you that would love to know more about your music, about what you are doing. Today, we are going to focus more on the music. People are going to enjoy themselves. We want them to feel the vibe. We want them to enjoy their Sunday afternoon. So it's going to be all about your music, what you do. We are going to be giving them different track from you that will make their Sunday afternoon to be lovely. It's not going to be a lot of talking or a lot of conversation. It's going to be dancing, enjoying, and time for people to sit down and relax, even though there is COVID-19 around the world. But that will not stop us not to praise God, because in
Yeah.
praising God, that is where our victory lies. So I'm so excited to have you on board. I want you to introduce yourself to my listeners, to my viewers, to my followers all around the world, who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My names are Yomi Ekuesan Festus. I'm a Nigerian from Ondo State to be precise. Okay, so I'm a gospel artist, a servant of God. I preach the word of God through words and music as well. So aside that, I'm also an associate pastor in one of the fastest growing church in the mainland in Nigeria, Lagos. I also am a businessman. I'm into business. I do clearing and forwarding. So that's what I do basically. That's who I am. But music is a gift, and God told me that is a tool He has given me to use as a means of communicating the gospel to the world. So music is another channel I use to preach the gospel of Christ all over the world wherever I go. So that is who Yomi Ekuesan is. He's a young, vibrant servant of God who loves to worship God and spread the ministry of revival all over Africa, all over the world, through music and through the word of God.
Hmm. Thank you very much. I like that introduction, and I like what you just say. You are a man of God, a musician, and a businessman as well. That is beautiful, and I like that. You see, one of the things that we need to learn in this generation now is that we have to understand that when God calls you, God will also empower you. God will never call you and make you a liability. God will call you and also empower you for you to also be a solution to the problem of the people. So I like what you said, that you are a minister of God, a musician, and a businessman as well. So we are going to touch all those aspects as well. But we have had some conversation in time past. But having said that, I still have a lot of things in my mind that I think we need to talk about and people need to know about you. You are the pastor in one of the fastest growing
Okay.
church in Lagos. What does it mean? Why do you say a fast growing church? How can we know the church that is fast growing? What is the criteria?
Okay. About one of the fastest growing church in Lagos, the mainland. Okay. Well, the church is a Pentecostal church, and the church started. Um, I wasn't there when the church started, anyways. I joined the church in 2009. I joined the church in 2009, and we're just using a very small hall then. But with the help of God and the grace of God upon the servants of God and the ministry at large, we are able to dominate that environment. And to the glory of God, the church has moved to a bigger apartment, has moved to a bigger auditorium, and we now run services like three, four services on Sunday morning. And we have a large number that even some of my pastor's friends do say, man, this man of God has grace. That he has grace. Some people who had started ministry like 4, 5, 10 years ahead of him had not gotten to the number of attendance he had. And that aside, the impact on the society is the major aim. That's one thing that makes me say it's one of the fastest growing church in the society. The impact on the people is massive, is large. We have a lot of people who are leaving the streets now and coming to the church, to understand, through our outreach and other means as well. So that's the main reason why I personally use that as my way of introducing the church. one of the fastest growing church in the mainland. It's not like it's an accolade that was imputed on them by God or by man. I personally just love to use that to commend the good work that the ministry has been doing.
Great, great. I love that. I love that. I'm not against that. It's a good thing that the word of God
Thank
is
you very much.
it's a good thing that we are the part of the solution, we are not part of the problem. So great, and I'm happy to hear that. Let me just quickly take you straight further. It's not that I want to put you on the hot seat, but I want a reality because also you face reality and we discuss reality. You have the call of God upon your life to be the carrier of the message of the new generation. How do you balance life between being a minister of God, gospel singer, and also a businessman? How do you balance the three?
Okay, you were asking how am I able to balance being a minister of God and being a businessman and doing music as well. Okay, I like to start by letting you know that it all starts by understanding the priority, placing priorities in all of these things. Because before you become a man of God, there was something you were doing before. And now that you have become a servant of God, you now know your call. You now know there's an additional duties. And then the music thing comes into the scenario. That's another additional duties. It's just like a child who is going to the school. You know that maths and English are vital sets for you to graduate or for you to pass into the next class or for you to be successful in your academics. So I would use in our layman language is for you to know that these things, out of all the things you are doing, which one is your maths and English? And then you put your energy, you channel your energy on them by placing priorities. You know which one should come first. Okay, I cannot say I have a call to do ministry now and business is calling me. I will not say, okay, because business is coming, it's going to fetch me money, I should leave the ministry. No, there is priority in things. I place values on all of them. I love all my jobs that I'm doing. But there is one that is utmost for me and my destiny. That's the ministry, the work that God has called me to do, the assignment. So I go for that one first. I either assign someone to assist me on the business aspect. I have people who work with me as well. So I would say the grace of God for me to manage these three offices has been because God has taught me to place priorities. Do you understand? To place priorities on the offices that I occupy. So that has been the grace of God has used to help me manage these three things.
Beautiful. Before we continue on that, let's quickly entertain our people listening to us. Please, everyone listening to us, I expect people, I expect fans to join us in this conversation. I expect you to spread it all around. So please come online, join us. We want you to give Yomi Ekuesan support. So we want this life to be hard. Join the community. Let it go far. Everyone knows that Yomi, all your fans as well. Let's before we continue, let's one of the music. I love that music. Let's quickly listen to it to let people as well. Everybody listening to us, join us as well. Let's enjoy the music together. Let's dance to this music. Let's dance to this music. Let's see what's going on and listen to this music. God bless you, everyone. We are still on the studio in Victoria, South Africa. God bless you. God bless you.
Unlimited love, it is not unlimited.
Thanks to everyone that is joining us, everyone that is listening to us. I can see that we are having some voice from your try to reduce your handset because the voice is coming back to us. Just lower your volume of your handset of your phone or whatever device it is because the voice is coming back to you. Just lower the volume. Let only your volume be working now. If you are hearing from side, can you hear me? Just put that down because the studio is not giving us the best quality. And just lower the volume of your handset. Your voice is coming back. Yes. Okay. That is great. That is great. Okay. Can you see me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, brilliant. I like that music that I just played out. That's a track really means a lot to me. I listen to it several times, and I believe a lot of people out there as well.
Wow, I can barely hear you, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's fair.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, beautiful. So I love that music that you play now. It's one of the music that I like out of your track. I'm still going to bring it back, but before that, let's quickly do this. A lot of people would like to know at least where did you get your inspiration to compose some of the music that you are putting to the space?
Okay, how do I get the inspirations?
Where do you derive the inspiration?
Okay, well, this is one of the most popular question I've ever been faced with. Everyone wants to know how you get your song, what is the source of your inspiration and all that. So I usually tell people my major source of inspiration, how I write songs, most songs I've written, I wrote them. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I said most songs that I've written, about 80% of all the songs I've written, they are written in the place of service. Probably service, I don't mean during church services. I mean serving God. Either I'm out there going out for evangelism, or I am somewhere in the church, either cleaning the church or doing one thing in the technical department because I'm the church administrator. So most times while I'll be working in the church, the inspiration will just come. I might just be playing with words while walking. I might be walking and be like, okay, this wire that I'm using, I'm just talking, and then a word will just drop in my spirit like, the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. That was how I got one of the first song I recorded, and it was titled Naya. So most times like that. And then secondly, in the midst of prayer and my personal fellowship with God, in the midst of prayer and personal fellowship with God, while I'm praying, songs do come like that. I do get this intuition. Sometimes one thing I learned from one of my mentors is that you have not really prayed and had fellowship with God if you have not gotten a sound of worship. So most times when I pray and I pray and I pray intensively, I get sounds. I hear sounds. So I start to put words together and write them, and it becomes songs. Do you understand? So my major inspirations for writing songs comes during my service time for God and praying and fellowship time. I get songs like that.
Hmm. Great, great. You say that one of your mentor, you just put a quote now about your mentor. I want you to make a reference to that mentor. Who is the mentor and where is the quote coming from?
You said who is the mentor?
Yes, the mentor and the quote. Because you just spoke about the quote now. I want you to quote the mentor, who the mentor is, and where's the message is from.
Okay. The mentor is a distant mentor, but I have been following him ever since I discover his ministry and I love what he's doing greatly. That's Apostle Joshua Selman. Apostle Joshua Selman. He's doing very well. He's in the northern part of Nigeria. He has a fellowship and he does online services as well. He's doing very well. He's the founder of Koinonia. So he's doing very well. And I've been following his ministry ever since I discovered what gifting God has given him. He's an apostle. He teaches the word, and he is also an addicted worshiper. So I picked that word from him, listening to one of his messages and one of his live broadcasts, and it sunk into my spirit. Although I have been experiencing that in the midst of my prayer section like that, I will just hear sounds and I begin to get readings, and I put words together with it and I worship God and it becomes a song. I just write it down after the prayer section. Sometimes I just do a voice note and keep them. You understand? So he has been the one that opened my understanding to know that that's another source of getting songs.
I like that. Let me take it a bit out of the content. What is the difference between a worshiper and a Christian?
Okay. You said what's the difference between a worshiper and a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. I think the question, if someone else should ask me, I would say the person is asking the question based on misunderstanding of English. Because you are not a Christian if you are not a worshiper. And you can't be a worshiper and not be a Christian.
So what you say now that it's not possible to be one out of the two. You cannot be a Christian and not be a worshiper, and you cannot be a worshiper and not be a Christian. So as long
Yes.
as you're a worshiper.
Yes, as long as you're a Christian, you are a worshiper, because Christ came to give us access to the Father. So everyone that believes in the life, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ is automatically a worshiper of God. Yes, but it's just that some of us, when we say the word worshiper, some people think they are those who lead worship songs. Say, I am not a good worshiper because I don't sing. No, that is wrong. You're a worshiper. For a perfect example is like, let me just use this, an unbeliever. Those who worship the idols. Those who worship the idols. Not all of them sing. Not all of them do music. But when you want to address them, you say, this man is an idol worshiper. Why? Because he is paying homage to that idol. He's giving reference to that idol. He's living his life according to the pattern and the governor, the leadership of that idol. So any man who lives as a Christian under the leadership of God that Christ has come to introduce to us, that man is a worshiper of God. Do you understand? So you don't have to be a music minister to be a worshiper. You can be an usher and yet you are a worshiper. You can be just a church member and you are still a worshiper. You can be a pastor and yet you are still a worshiper. So a worshiper is, in another word, a believer. Do you get it now?
I,
So that's it. There is no difference between a worshiper and a Christian. It's just
I'm
the use of.
I'm not satisfied with the answer, but I will not dwell so much in that. As a
Sorry,
minister,
I'm not hearing you, sir.
I say I will not dwell much in that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Wow, I can't hear you at all.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Are you hearing me now? Hello? Yes, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. I
Okay.
can't.
I can hear
I think
you,
something
but
happened to the mic.
it's fine. Let me quickly put you on into the music part. Can you still hear me now?
No, I can't. I can't hear you.
Okay, great. Let me just quickly put the music back. I will be back in 2 minutes to quickly see what is going on your side, why you can't hear me. But we are in the show. We are having a deep conversation with one of the minister of God, a young, vibrant musician in Nigeria that is doing well for himself. Yomi Ekuesan is his name. He's a man of God. Is one of the pastor in one of the fast-growing church in Lagos. And we're having a deep conversation on things that have to do with worshiper. He's talking about the worshiper. Who are the worshiper? That is what we are discussing. But let's quickly see one of his music again. I love this music, and
What's happening?
again, let's hear from him again. It's a beautiful song that I love.
I can hear you now, but it's faint. It's very low.
Okay. Let's music just go through.
You're playing the music, one of my videos on the YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but it is very, very low. I have to strain my ear down to hear you. Can you talk now so I can see if I can hear you?
Yes, I'm just bringing some music on the wall so that we can see what it means. Because as we are talking
Huh?
about worship, we are
Something must have happened to the mic. It's so low.
it is so low. I'm trying to check. I think the problem must be from the side because everything seems to look fine here. But yes, let's just. Can you hear me now? Are you hearing me now? Can you hear me now?
Can't.
Sorry, we are having a challenge with the communication here. It seems now that you cannot hear me from the other side. House there, if you can hear me. It's a beautiful time here in the studio. We are having a conversation around things that have to do with praise, and we are discussing the very vital issue: who are the worshiper? Does that mean that because you are a Christian, you are a worshiper? That is what we are having conversation on. Thanks to the senior pastor of Dominion Assembly, Pastor Bongani Domini. Thank you very much for your comments. We really appreciate it. We're still on the show. We are having a conversation around the importance of the praise. That is what we are having conversation around. And to make your Sunday have to know be more enjoyable and interesting, I will be giving you some music from Yomi Ekuesan. Yomi Ekuesan is a young pastor from one of the fast growing church in Lagos, and is also a businessman. We are having a conversation around what he's doing, around his ministry, and around his business, and around some other things that you will need to know about him. That is what we are having conversation around. And I believe that everyone listening to us as well, you are discussing one or two things from the conversation. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay,
Can hear you.
unfortunately, he can't hear me in studio. Let's play with the voice from Yomi Ekuesan. But from our side, everything seems to look great. Everything looks fine from this side. But the distance is a bit far away as well, so the network may not be the reason why the voice is not clear on the other side. But having said that, I'm having a fun and I'm enjoying myself in the studio. It's a beautiful time here in Victoria, South Africa, on the African Portal Radio, where everyone have a say. Thanks so much for those of you that are sharing our program. For those of you that are listening to us, thank you very much. Thanks to Alaji Ojuade Sulaiman. Thank you very much. God is God's call and empower. Lovely message. Thank you very much. Everyone listening to us, we really appreciate it. Thanks to Abiodun Babatunde for joining us as well. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful time here. In the meantime, let's quickly go back to the music. Let's give you some music from Yomi Ekuesan to dance to, and we'll come back to see if we can still hear him we can still connect to him in Lagos. If not, we'll be calling it a day for today, and we will put an end to the program for today. But let's quickly see what he's saying here on his music here. Thank you very much. We still believe that everything is still going well on our side here. We are having a very good network, and everything seems to look fine here. But we are having challenges to connect to Lagos. But from our side, everything looks all right. Let's enjoy this together. Thank you very much. Let's enjoy this music today.
You ready? Now we my power, not just power. Everything you see today, Oluwani. Now we my power, not just power. Everything you see today, Oluwani. The other glory must be in the atmosphere. Hallelujah. All the glory must be to my Father in the atmosphere. Hallelujah. One year long, you get money to the carry soda. One year long, you get money to the carry soda.
Thank you very much for those of you that are joining us, for those of you that are listening to us. Thank you very much for being part of what is going on in the studio. I hope we're having a good conversation here now in the studio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? It seems like we can't hear what you say from his side, but we can hear you from the studio. Thank you very much for joining us. Your music is still running on the show, so the show comes to an end. For those of you that would like to communicate with us, kindly join us on the Stuff Media House where everyone has a say. Let's do it together. Tomorrow we'll be on the show again that will be giving you some of the things that you need to know and important things that we need to discuss on the program. Thanks to Pastor Bongani that joined us from Pretoria here in South Africa. And thanks to everyone that is listening to us. Thanks to all our team out there in Nigeria. Thank you very, very much. And thanks to one of our very own that is the manager of this musician that we bring to the studio. We give a kudos to you. Thank you very much. We had a conversation last night, and you approve it for him to come to this program. We really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. It's unfortunate that the network will not allow us to finish this conversation, but from our studio here, everything seems to look very fine and very okay. But you know, the distance as well can be the reason why the network is not good. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a beautiful Sunday afternoon. God bless you real good. Enjoy it and God bless you. Bye. From here, bye for now. Thank you. Bye.